Welcome to the dimecomicbros podcast, where one pair of socks, one set of bare feet, and a pair of slippers talk about nerd stuff.
Spencer has the bare feet today.
I do. Stop looking at my Hobbit feet, weirdo.
Bare feet, like B-E-A-R, not B-A-R-E.
Wow.
They're so hairy.
Not really. She's
Yes.
a crow.
You got beards down there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna go right into the news. So from comicbook.com, quote, DC Universe has quietly ended its annual subscription package to users. A visit to the official DC Universe site quickly confirms that the $7.99 monthly rate for the streaming service is now the only package available. This move comes as the industry has been taking careful note of a lot of shifts in the DC Universe operating strategy, or rather the slow decline of it. No official announcement from DC or Warner Brothers about why the change was made to the DC Universe subscription plan, end quote. I think we kind of all saw this coming.
Because fandom is coming. So
I mean, that's just the basically the con. That's just the virtual con. It's because all the original shows are moving to HBO Max because they did not plan those two services out well.
Right.
They're just eating into each other's markets. Because
that sounds gross.
It's true. Because Doom Patrol has officially moved to HBO Max.
Yeah, it has.
Stargirl, which is another topic, but it's really brief. Stargirl was renewed for season 2 and is now moving to the CW because it is very much so in the CW multiverse.
Wait, what? Where was it before?
It was an HBO. It was a DC Universe and CW show. It's in the CW verse, but
it was on HBO Max.
No, it was a DC Universe show because they needed the budget. They wanted to get it off the ground to make sure it could make money first.
So it was on its DC.
It aired on DC Universe unedited, and then they'd air it on the CW site and channel like the next day with a slightly censored version because of like the running time difference, and it's network TV.
All right. So the first season already ended?
I think it's most of the way through. It sounds like it's been getting pretty positive stuff. I haven't gotten into it yet.
I haven't been following.
But
I am only hearing about it now, so no
really?
idea even who it is.
Stargirl.
Yeah.
Stargirl.
Now that the really weird CW crisis is over, the shows seem to be taking a slightly better direction. More focused, anyway. So
does that mean the Arrow is done?
Arrow is done.
The show in general, so they're not even trying to make.
No, it's done. It was season 8 was. Is it 8 or 9? I think it was 8.
It's 8.
8 was the last one.
I might just have to go back and watch it just to see how shit it is.
I believe that.
I mean, season 1 and 2 were good, but
yeah.
it got shitty really
I believe
fast.
they confirmed they're gonna make a short basically what they tried to do with Legends of Tomorrow in the beginning, make a limited series in the future.
Make an epilogue.
Kind of with all the birds, all of the other Arrows, because Arrow was a team show by the end of it.
Yep, it was.
So they're gonna take all of that stuff. I don't know if that's going anywhere, but that was announced a while ago.
Legends of Tomorrow into 2?
Not to be confused with the movie Boards of Prey.
Boards of Prey. We're talking about Birds of Prey, not boards.
Right.
Yeah, so they're
not to confuse with the original Birds.
Oh boy, here we
Boards
go.
of Prey.
Or the one from the 90s, which is technically canon to the DC multiverse.
Dang.
That thing was crap.
Yep.
Yeah, it was bad.
With the really weird looking Joker.
Yeah.
Oh,
the one
bad.
with the hyper prosthetics. Yeah. Yeah.
Spooky.
Yeah. But yeah, DC. I remember as soon as HBO Max details were announced on how DC heavy of a service it was going to be. It's already eating into the market of DC Universe, which just launched 2 years ago. So I don't think this is a surprise to anybody that they are going to slowly kill off DC Universe, because Titans is the only thing remaining exclusive. The Harley Quinn animated show is also moving to HBO Max pretty soon.
Good, because I want to see that.
Same.
Yeah.
I think it's coming in the next month or so. They're going to put both seasons on there, and I believe season 3, whenever it happens, is going to air on HBO Max.
Wait, it's got 2 seasons already?
Yeah.
I've been ignoring it. I haven't.
They pumped it out really fast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know a
also.
bunch of stuff about her and Poison Ivy actually being
Kite Man, hell yeah.
And Kite Man, okay, that's whack, but
yeah,
all right.
I heard really good things about it, and definitely want to see it.
Yeah, so it's I don't think anybody's really surprised DC Universe is slowly getting killed off, because Swamp Thing got canned after 1 season for other reasons.
Did it even get released on air?
I don't remember, honestly.
I don't think it did because I know
the first half was, and then they had to just they just put it out on disc. I think.
Yeah, because
it was originally
first
supposed to be
season's at
long.
Walmart.
It was gonna,
I almost got
it. Do it. We should do that as a topic eventually.
Yes.
I just bought him a copy, and I have a copy myself.
To keep ourselves like on track with like topics, we need
Yeah.
to actually like get together and watch these together, and then just record a podcast right after.
Yep.
I'm saying that because I'm really bad at keeping up with our topics.
He is. But DC, like, Titans is somehow commercially successful, but it's getting trashed everywhere because it's bad.
You know
it's
why?
Bad.
You know why?
Because they have nice butts.
It's because Nightwing peen, that's why. Why is his crotch pad so big? I mean, we get it. We get
really
it. Nightwing has a fat, juicy butt, but, like, his crotch, we all know it's not that big.
Oh
okay? So they need to chill.
Colin, stop. Anyways, so there's 2 topics right out of the way. DC Universe is...
That's 3 topics out of the way.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
DC Universe is slowly dying. HBO Max is kind of cannibalizing the market. Warner Brothers didn't plan that out well. Next on the list, we have from multiversitycomics.com. DC Black Label will be returning to the world of Watchmen in the 12-issue maxi series Rorschach from writer Tom King, who is the writer of Mr. Miracle, as well as the second-to-last Batman run, the Rebirth run, which I believe he got up to like 83 or 84 issues.
I remember like
artist Jorge Fornes, probably wrong. He worked on Batman as well as a recent Daredevil run, and colorist Dave Stewart from Hellboy and Silver Surfer Black. The comic is set during the Redford presidency and follows a new Rorschach, possibly inspired by the original's journal from the original Watchmen. It's unknown as of yet how the new series will tie into Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's 2017 to 2019 series Doomsday Clock, although the press release states the comic is set 35 years since Ozymandias was exposed for dropping a giant telepathic squid on New York City, killing thousands and ending the public's trust in heroes once and for all. Like the HBO Watchmen show, it's very much like the original 86 Watchmen. This is a very political work, said King. It's an angry work. We're also angry all the time now. We have to do something with that anger. It's called Rorschach, not because of the character Rorschach, but because what you see in these characters tells you more about yourself than about them. The comic follows a detective pursuing after a pair of assassins, including the titular Rorschach, who are trying to kill the first presidential candidate to threaten the Redford administration since it began in the late 80s. The comic promises to be metatextual, with the detective delving into a web of fallen heroes, magic, aliens, and in-text comic books. End quote. So my immediate gut reaction was, oh gosh, please, not more Watchmen. But then I read the actual information. I'm kind of interested.
So what is this based off of? The comic Watchmen? Like, this is like connected with the same timeline as that?
Okay, so
or is it like connected with the show, which is also connected with the comics?
Here's a brief rundown of Watchmen for anybody listening. You have the original comic book, and if you're a purist, it's only the original comic book. Then you have the before Watchmen comic book kind of maxi series, which were pretty mixed to positive, but
never read it.
They don't add a lot, but they don't like destroy anything. Then you have the 2009 movie adaptation, which is an entire parallel universe, and then you have the 2017 to 2019 Doomsday Clock, which then ties the comic universe of Watchmen into the main DC continuity. And then you have the 2019 Watchmen HBO show, which is canon to a universe where only the original book and that series exists. It's really complicated these days.
Of course it is.
It's kind of annoying. So basically you have purists who only read the original book. The movie universe is closed. That's just its own little pocket thing. Then you have the comic and the show, and then you have the comic in the main DC universe now, which it kind of sounds like this will probably be that, but it's not confirmed either
the
way.
Rorschach is... The Rorschach storyline
It's in the new comic version, where it probably ties into Doomsday Clock.
So we have new characters then?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
That's something we should also do eventually, is read Doomsday Clock.
35 years after the original book, so...
Right, so they don't confirm whether it's only canon to the original book, or if it's just canon to the book and Doomsday Clock.
If I remember, Redford was, like, a part of the show as well.
Yeah.
Was it not?
Yeah, the show... So the show is only its own universe. It's only canon to the original Watchmen comic. Those two are their own pocket universe. Anything else isn't canon to that version of the universe. It's awkwardly complicated.
See, I understand multiverses and all that, but like
it's weird because it all of them are canon with the original Watchmen book, but there are like 6 different versions aside from that.
It's so weird. I understand all these multiverses and I can just like spit them out of my butt, but like this is it's still confusing to me.
It's complicated.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to read Watchmen.
So I've got a couple of thoughts on this one. First,
yeah,
I'm a little uncomfortable with calling it a maxi series. That sounds like a feminine product to me.
That just means it's 12.
Why not
12.
just say max series?
That's always what they've been called.
Right. Why add the I?
No,
it a maxi
no,
series.
they've always been called maxi series. It means it's a mini series but bigger. It's 12 issues.
Just call it a Moxie series. You like Moxie?
Oh my gosh.
Call it Moxie.
I like this idea.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I'm a little nervous about King saying that it's a very political work and everybody's so angry all the time now.
Question is, why does that make you nervous? Because that's what the original Watchmen is based.
Watchmen's been
Watchmen's
super
always.
I'm getting there. Hang on.
Sorry.
So it's just I don't want it to be like using Watchmen as a platform to complain about today's topics. Like I could overlook it in the original Watchmen book, and it was like, yeah, it's there, but I don't care. I'm just here for the story and the characters. I don't want it to be like ripped out of the news. Like that's not why I'm reading comics.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's a lot of the comics that we like enjoy. Like
Right.
Dark Knight Returns,
I
that was
complained
very
about it
political.
Yeah,
and like,
Jacob is very much so in the purist side
But
of keep the politics out of my books.
No.
You're just annoyed with you want to escape reality. You don't want like reality in
White Knight
mixed with it.
Like some of the racial tensions are mentioned in there.
Damn,
right?
we really do like our political comic books.
Yes, we do.
Iron Man 3, I really like that the Mandarin was like a terrorist. I kind of like that, but it wasn't talking about real life stuff in the current day. It was just taking a current theme in the news every single day.
Yeah, it depends on the way you go about it.
Yeah, it's just got to be light and not like in depth and bitching about somebody.
Well, at least our like the political comics are like say DC. Most of the political comics are black series. They're like black label, so it's not in your typical
they're
comic
not
book.
Usually in main continuity, or at least as heavily focused.
Which I think is nice. I think that's good. I feel like that's good, so we can have like the balance of I want to escape reality, or I want to relate to reality but not reality.
Right. I think my immediate gut reaction when I saw Tom King was, oh crap, the guy who had that really weird Batman run. But I did poke in on a little bit of that, and I don't like the direction he was going, but he's sure as hell not a bad writer. Okay. And some of his other works are really good. It's just I don't think he was a good fit for that.
And it's like still on my idea. It kind of proves me right. I think that they're using Rorschach to portray all these ideas that they're bringing.
I mean, Rorschach was always supposed to be a piece of scum.
Right.
That is the point. That Alan Moore's literally like, no, he's always been a piece of crap.
Yeah, because he called, like he said whores were like not even humans. Like,
Rorschach was, followed the character, but he wasn't supposed to be good. Right. He was just a character.
He was edgy.
Well, yeah, that was the point. Is he was a parody of the super self-serious stuff like Batman, or The Question, the one he's actually more directly based off of.
Yeah, I look at it as like more crazy Punisher, or more extreme, more psychotic Punisher. So.
I think that might be the part where the movie adaptation kicks in, like in your subconscious, because it was very, very gently cleaned up for that. Not a lot, but it was just a few lines of his dialogue were switched to like narration or other characters, so he didn't come off as really nasty and racist and crappy as he was.
Right. You know what's funny? I actually, as I did read some of the Watchmen. Okay, I didn't read it fully, but I do know, from what I know, is that Rorschach himself, how I take him, is like, it's not a person who fully understands his ideologies. It's like he's mentally handicapped.
No, he is. He is a crazy dude who smells and eats uncooked beans.
No. I mean, yeah, there's crazy, but I mean, like, there's crazy, but I mean, like, mentally handicapped, malnourished.
Yeah.
And he doesn't fully understand his own, like, hatred towards certain things. It's like he's prejudiced because of his trauma, which is
Right.
obvious,
That
which is like
intentions,
everyone.
but certainly
I don't really think he's got good intentions.
Well,
I think it's just his
he
prejudices.
thinks he does.
That's
I
true.
think that's,
I mean,
that's
everyone
the framing
does.
of what angle you look at it from is.
I'm just saying my take on that.
Yeah, but it's if you're going to do more Watchmen, that's probably a good avenue to take it because you get less of the magic squid monsters and stuff.
So I feel more like sad for him than I see him as scum. I'm like,
yeah.
I still like growing up. I loved him because I watched like the 2009
Well, yeah, because
Watchmen
he's
when
really
when
cool,
I came out
and
when I
he's
was
got
like
a deep
10.
voice, and he's got
It's
a
like,
really cool mask.
Dude, Rorschach's so cool.
And then you realize that he's psychotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to explain that to my dad, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't like the comic Rorschach." I'm like, "Well, that's Rorschach." And he's like, "Yeah, I want to stay to 2009 Watchmen." I'm like, "That's probably a good choice."
Yeah. I think it's very that's just a really interesting thing, and such a near not perfect, but such a near identical adaptation with minor exceptions. That's one thing that got just gently shifted enough where he's now the protagonist rather than just one of them. So you view it all through his eyes, so it ends up being more sympathetic. By the end, you're like, yeah, he was probably right, which he definitely wasn't. But like you could view it more and empathize with it because you took so much more from his perspective.
Yep. So I guess of all the comic books that you could base your political views, angry political views off of, Watchmen would be the one.
Probably.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's the dump truck for it.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
That's a good place to have.
Yeah. I mean, part of it's just the whole don't keep touching Watchmen. It was supposed to be standalone. There's a reason Alan Moore hates everybody because they keep bastardizing his work. But
yeah,
also, if it's good,
it's kind of like we're getting Dark Knight Returns 3.
Oh,
that's what it kind of sounds like we're gonna get. Honestly, I haven't read it. I looked through it. I skimmed it.
Master Race?
Yeah. Master Race is better than Strikes Back, but it's not great.
Still looks like shit, dude.
That's another thing we're gonna get to.
I think I liked that one. I've only read it once.
I'd have to read it, but
Strikes Back was literal.
For the record,
dog crap.
For the record, it is nearly impossible for me to read a comic if the art style is so atrocious. I'm very picky.
It's definitely not his best work, but it's still not that bad.
It's like so you can. I'm gonna go like on a little art thing for just a second, if you allow me to. So with art, there's anatomy, and when you're learning art, you need to understand anatomy. But there is bending anatomy, obviously, but you have to bend it in the right areas.
Yeah.
Like, it just has to look good. You cannot just give Spider-Man a huge forehead. Like, I saw this drawing of this guy that made Spider-Man, and it was all going well, and everything, the coloring was great, and I noticed his head is an oval, like a really long oval, and I showed some people that, and they're like, that's just the art style. No, that means he sucks at anatomy. And so, there's a lot of art styles in comics that the anatomy is so bad, like his head's so big, person's head's so big, but their face is so tiny.
I think that's actually a good point in terms of Frank Miller's work, because sometimes it's so borderline that it does work.
Dark Knight Returns, like the first one, is borderline where I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah, on occasion it does look really gross, which is definitely intentional. Strikes Back is just gross and rushed and has horrible line work because he was rushed and probably stoned to hell the whole time. Just pooped it out.
Well, of course,
didn't even bother to wipe it off.
Like, how are there so many artists that are like comic artists and they're getting paid to do this, and I'm not? I'm jealous.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
I've paid you.
Yes. I still have that Dark Knight, that like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, you got to finish that someday.
I just gotta find it.
All right, so next piece of news. It's just a bit of bullet points. After promoting Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition being released on HBO Max, Zack Snyder answered a fair few fan questions in the comment section. It was just a really neat little post he put out because there was a bit of, I wouldn't say a large uproar, but the Snyder community on Twitter mostly was like, why is the theatrical version on HBO Max? That's not even like a coherent movie. Put the real one on there. And then they did. So obviously he noticed. So that was just kind of cool. But he confirmed a few things we already kind of knew, and there's some new information. He just kind of went off in the comments for like an hour. Junkie XL is returning. We kind of already knew that, but he confirmed it. There'll be the usual returning themes that Hans Zimmer started off. That was also confirmed. Apparently, the Justice League he would have released in 2017 if he hadn't stepped away still would have been compromised in one way, shape, matter, or form. And the one we're getting now has absolutely no compromises. We don't know exactly what that means. Probably removing stuff that he was told to shoot that he didn't want to. BVS wasn't compromised in the slightest, minus, chopping up the theatrical cut. In terms of actually shooting the movie, it wasn't butchered. The original Steppenwolf design, which you saw in Batman v Superman, as well as some of the concept work for Justice League, will be returning. So that's friggin' sweet. That's gonna take a lot of work to rework all those animations. Justice League was shot all on 35mm film in 1.66.1 aspect ratio, which is not what Man of Steel or BVS were in. It's not actually IMAX, but it's a far more similar thing. It's a lot taller. It's bigger.
Why?
Bigger in scope. It's taller. So it's still viewable on a regular TV. Like IMAX on a regular TV isn't. You see it, but it's not as big as when you see it on an actual IMAX screen.
Right.
1.66.1 is right in the middle, where you still notice it. It allows for more headroom, but you can still get wide shots. So you have wide shots, but it doesn't make it weird, and so the people aren't super far away to get the wide shot. You can still get close and have all the headroom for people talking in a wide shot.
This makes me miss theaters.
Kind of like when you and I went to see episode 8 of Star Wars, right? In IMAX.
Yes,
So
I love
kind
of.
It's
So
super tall and super wide, and it was intentional, having a character on the far left and the far right.
Right, kind of like that. And then when you watch it on home release, it's a little different because it's IMAX. 1.66.1 is in the middle.
I've never watched it since.
Ouch.
8? What? That's the only good one. Okay, not the only good one, but that's
We're not
my
talking about
favorite
Star
one.
Wars.
No. My favorite one.
No.
8 is my favorite one.
Shut up. He also said something might be coming, quote, before DC fandom, which later, meaning a couple of days ago when he did an interview with a journalist, confirmed that there will be at least a short clip / teaser and some other surprise at the DC fandom event. So that was just a little bit of stuff. He's just commenting back in usual Zach fashion with lots of curse words.
And you're always stalking his every move.
Yes.
In usual fashion.
Sack Daddy.
Yes. Next point. Ray Fisher revealed during an Instagram live stream, answering questions about his involvement with the upcoming DC fandom event, but also if he was outside of the limitations of his non-disclosure agreement for Justice League. Quote, no, it's not. I'm still very much so under contract, and I'm still very much under non-disclosure agreement. So I've got to be careful about what I say and how I say it, otherwise I could get sued into oblivion. Just a disclaimer there, so the folks who are looking for more specifics in the moment right now, I'm sorry, I can't give them to you in the moment right now. And
Alright, so right
please
off
don't
the
be
bat,
a dick to him.
when he says he doesn't want to get sued into oblivion, he's talking about the Elder Scrolls 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely not.
Oh.
Although Ray Fisher is an epic gamer, and he does live stream on Twitch a lot, and he seems pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, no, just in regards to all of the Joss Whedon accusations going around, that's why he's being vague, because he could get sued at the moment.
No, I get that.
So that's kind of stinks, but it's understandable that that he's still under non-disclosure now
Warner
that they
Brothers sucks big peener.
So the next logical question to ask him would be, when does the NDR end?
That is true. You would think that they might have just, because a lot of those movies do have really long non-disclosure agreements, just for the sake of franchising. You lock some, in terms of another thing you do, you lock somebody into a super long contract for more movies than you ever think you're going to need them for. So it could be set super far out.
You said franchising, and I heard Mel Brooks in my mind going, merchandising.
Oh goodness, yes. But yeah, or it could just be because now they're working on Zack Snyder's Justice League, so they might have renewed contracts or have modified ones or something like that. Or it could just be the original contract. Who freaking knows?
I don't.
Nope.
Alright, next.
From WarnerMedia.com, quote, HBO Max announced today that it has given a serious commitment to an original DC drama set in the Gotham City Police Department from the Batman filmmaker Matt Reeves, Boardwalk Empire creator Terrence Winter, The Batman producer Dylan Clark, and Warner Brothers Television. The groundbreaking television series is to be written by Winter is set in the world Reeves is creating for the Batman feature film and will build upon the motion picture's examination of the anatomy of corruption in Gotham City, ultimately launching a new Batman universe across multiple platforms.
I'm excited.
The series provides an unprecedented opportunity to extend the world established in the movie and further explore the myriad of compelling and complex characters of Gotham. This marks the first television project for Reeves under his recently announced overall deal with the Warner Bros. Television Group. End quote. So it's Gotham, but better.
But better! Let's get Clayface.
No.
Oh.
It's gonna actually be GCPD centered, so it's gonna be all crime and corruption, not more superheroes. That was the problem with Gotham, was they strayed away from the actual GCPD stuff.
When Colin said he's excited, I was thinking of the Hercules meme. Disappointed! But it's Colin going, I'm excited!
Yeah.
Dude, because, like, Matt Reeves, Batman, I'm so excited for it.
I find it funny they announced a prequel series before the movie's even out. They must have a lot of confidence in this thing. But also, it's relevant and timely in that sense of exploring police corruption, so I find that part interesting. That was way too loud. Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
Sorry.
Alright, so, does anybody have thoughts on what we were just talking about, which would be the
Matt
Gotham
Reeves.
prequel?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm excited. I mean, I love this, like, all the aesthetics that we're getting. I love all the aesthetics that we're getting for the Matt Reeves Batman. So all I can say right now, with, like, no knowledge at all except for that this is coming out, is that I am excited.
I just like the idea of having another police procedural, because I happen to love Gotham, but it strayed very far away from the police procedural stuff very quickly. And that was good, and it helped the show get better, but I wouldn't
like
mind
that they say anatomy of corruption in Gotham City. That sounds like it's going to touch on mob stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
That would be
like,
sick.
It's definitely going to be all the
You have to.
pre-superpowered stuff,
Yeah.
which is definitely good, because that's
You have to do that.
pretty much, is, Batman's existence is, in response to crime escalation.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
in
it continues
response to
escalating.
gangs instead of,
And it
like,
continues
metahumans.
escalating once he's around, and then it turns into all the superpowered-
Metahumans because he's around.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So getting to the actual root of that would be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Organized crime.
Also, I really like the actor they cast as Commissioner Gordon. So if he's in this, I'm double on board. He's also just sassy on the internet, and I like people
What's
that are
his
sassy
name?
on their social media. It's,
I used to be, but then I got rid of social media.
Oh, you had social media?
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Facebook?
Twitter.
You had a Twitter? I can see you having a Twitter.
Instagram, Pinterest. Yeah, I had it all.
Really?
As I was saying, it's Jeffrey Wright. I honestly don't know where you'd know him from, but he's just really sassy. And he's entertaining, and I think he's a good fit for this sort of a universe that they're trying to go for.
You like your guy sassy?
Shut up. Moving on. So from EmpireOnline.com, quote, speaking to Empire for the upcoming big screen preview issue of Empire magazine, Black Widow director Kate Shortland spoke about that interesting dichotomy, hinting that while Black Widow is a last hurrah for Johansson, things are only just beginning for Florence Pugh's incoming Yelena. Kevin Feige realized that the audience would expect an origin story, so of course we went in the opposite direction, Shortland tells Empire. And we didn't know how great Florence Pugh would be. We knew she would be great, but we didn't know how great. Scarlett is so gracious, like, ooh, I'm handing her the baton, so it's going to propel another female storyline, end quote. The end of the world stuff that the movie looks to be leading towards has me worried, but the fact that it's probably setting up most of Phase 4 has me excited. Also, just spy stuff, But
I'm bored of spy stuff.
I'm kind of tired of seeing promotional stuff for it and just want to
honestly,
see it.
same, yeah. Yeah, I think it they've been pretty quiet on it. Once they moved the release date in the middle of the pandemic, this has been the only thing since then, as far as I'm aware. So once we see it, and I believe it's set in November now.
The last thing in theaters before the pandemic was Sonic.
Yeah.
That's the
Bloodshot.
last. It wasn't Bloodshot. It was Sonic.
Oh, you were going for like the dead last one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that last one was Sonic, and of all movies, it was Sonic.
2020 Oscars are gonna be a funny one.
Oh yeah.
Oh my word!
I might watch that.
It's gonna just
Sonic's
be based
gonna
off of like everything on Netflix or
Pretty
Hulu.
much. Yeah.
A24 films. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah. So, it's nothing super exciting, but they're confirming basically that they're handing the baton to a new character to carry on that role. So that's cool.
Oh really?
That's what I just said, Colin. You weren't listening when I read the quote, were you?
Sorry, I'm on Instagram.
Get off your phone! Yeah. So, next topic. Something that I had on it that completely flew under my radar. I remember talking to both you guys a while back that they canned all the MCU Hulu shows. Like, the Ghost Rider stuff. Turns out they actually didn't cancel all of them, and I was wrong.
Wait. They're bringing back Inhumans.
No.
Darn it!
I never watched Inhumans.
Good.
No. No. So it looks like
Ghost Rider had his own show.
No.
No, he was just on.
Let me speak.
No.
No, they were gonna give. There was supposed to be 4. Like, I don't remember the term they used, but it was like 4 dark, edgy, mystical shows that were supposed to premiere on Hulu sometime soon. One was gonna be a Ghost Rider show. One was gonna be Hellstrom, and there were 2 unnamed ones that were early in production. Ghost Rider, from some various reasons, never ended up happening. They canceled that. And then, because Marvel Television merged with the Marvel Studios, we're getting all the Disney Plus shows. All the other shows are getting finished off. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s nearly done. All the Hulu shows are done. But, turns out they actually they made a season of Hellstrom that's coming out in October on Hulu. There's a couple of promotional images. I know very little about it. Basically,
is it new?
What do you mean?
Like, it's
not original. No, it's a semi-newish character. I think it was around in like the 80s or 90s.
Oh, I guess it's kind of older.
It's in that
it's 2020.
Area.
It's older.
It's in that area of edgy mystical stuff.
Dang, Damon Hellstrom, according to the great
Wikipedia.
Yes. His first appearance was Ghost Rider #1 in September of 1973.
There we go. Okay.
So he's older than any of us thought.
Yeah. So
Isn't Cloak and Dagger on Hulu?
It was, yes.
How many seasons did that
I believe 3, and it's done.
Really?
Yeah,
dude,
it got 3.
Why am I so behind in all these shows?
Because most of them are bad. Cloak and Dagger was teen drama crap. Runaways was teen drama crap.
Oh, I tried watching Runaways. It was such. And Cloak and Dagger just kind of looked.
They're above Inhumans level, but not by much. I was so disappointed with Cloak and Dagger because it's cool. They actually changed the location instead of it being another New York set show like the comics are. They moved it to New Orleans, which is cool. And Cloak and Dagger, phenomenal characters, and then it kind of turned into teen drama crap. I was like, well, these actually kind of dark characters with really serious history. Nah, they're teenagers, which could work, but they're not taking it seriously. And now it's done. But yeah, so there's a series of Hellstrom coming late this year.
I'm actually pretty excited for that.
Yeah, there's like 5 promotional images. They don't look exciting, but it looks to be of at least a high production with quality color grading, if nothing else. It's mystical stuff.
I don't know too much about the show, but I'm picturing something like Diablo, maybe?
I think it's the very little amount of information. It looks like it's like a...
Like Hellscape.
Kind of like like a police procedural, but with demons. Not like supernatural type, but
cool.
Like it's him and his sister, and they have mystical ties and all sorts of weird stuff.
Dude, honestly, anything to do with demons, I'm in.
Yeah,
like, I don't know why.
That's why I was super excited for those Hulu shows that when they announced these, and I totally forgot that they continued with this one because there was nothing that came out for a very long time until like a month ago, and they're like, yeah, here's some promo images, no teaser, nothing yet.
We demand the Ghost Rider show.
Yeah, eventually. So that's just something neat. So that'll actually be the last Marvel television show before the Disney Plus shows take precedence over everything.
I want Daredevil again.
We all want Daredevil again.
I want Black Suit Daredevil.
Yes. I want Shadowland. Just all of the Defender stuff needs to come back. Anywho.
Didn't season 3 of Daredevil kind of...
A little bit.
Kind of what?
Take inspiration from Shadowland, but not really.
Not a lot. It didn't have Evil Daredevil. So,
no.
No.
Kind of didn't.
He wasn't mind-controlled crazy. He was just going nuts. There's a difference.
Okay. Well,
Shadowland Daredevil is evil. He's absolutely psychotic.
He bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So, from EntertainmentWeekly.com, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Disney Plus Marvel series, which paused production in Prague back in March, has officially been delayed. It was expected after filming on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier paused in March, but now it's official. The first live-action Marvel Studios TV series won't be making its planned August premiere on Disney Plus.
I totally forgot that show existed, or like the plans to make that show existed. Why is he Falcon and not Captain America?
I'm not done yet, and I can explain that. The streaming platform released its list of new programming coming next month, and the show, starring Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, wasn't on it. A source close to the situation confirms to Entertainment Weekly that the premiere has indeed been delayed due to the global pandemic. If all goes well, a new premiere will be announced soon, which means most likely all of the shows are getting bumped back a couple of months, so they space them out well.
Again.
Yeah, again. But honestly,
try it again.
I'm actually okay with this, which I mentioned before. Like once Black Widow got pushed to November, we're getting such a big break before Phase 4 actually kicks off, and that's really good because I need a bloody break. Not because anything's bad, but I need a break, tonally speaking, and other content-wise.
You're speaking for yourself.
I'm glad about that we have this break because it gives me a chance to like actually watch other movies besides superhero movies.
Yeah.
Like Lighthouse and like more A24. I'm still watching anime.
Everything the A24 is attached to is phenomenal.
I just don't want to watch anime while I'm sad.
That's a good idea. That will make you like kill yourself.
No, I figured I was watching it while I was like super sad. And I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch Avatar because this makes me feel good.
Better idea. So the show, from all the information and the promo material and the really short teaser, is basically him grappling with like earning the mantle in his own eyes because the government doesn't trust them. The Winter Soldier is not going to be Captain America. He wasn't given the title because Steve's not stupid. He knows the government. Nobody's going to trust the Winter Soldier. They all know who Bucky is.
Well, yeah.
They're not. The general public's not going to trust him with that.
No, he's still messed up in the head.
Right, and he's still got most of his issues got fixed, but he still has like,
his arc's not finished.
Internal struggles are still there. Just like his brain's not frazzled anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the Falcon is like internally earning it for himself. He's trying to actually prove himself, like quote unquote, to Steve by proving it to himself that he's actually worthy of having the title.
Yeah,
and
he's
the government
not proving
gets
it to Steve.
involved.
He's proving it to himself.
Right, because he's basically, as he said, he does everything that Steve does, just slower. He is the spiritual successor, and that was always a good decision.
That means he's gonna age quickly and die.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Whack.
and the government gets involved, and they make like they confiscate the shield. It looks like, and they make their own comic character U.S. agent. They push out their own propaganda machine. So we're going back to like the first Avenger type stuff.
Fascism.
Yes. But it looks like all of the shows and the movies are tying, at least the Earth-based ones, are tying a lot more into Secretary Ross and the government interfering with all of this crap. And they're definitely going to end up doing Thunderbolts at some point or another. They're definitely going in that direction. So, you guys have any other thoughts on this? I'm hyped as hell.
Now that you actually talk about it,
Is Hell really hyped?
Very.
Bruh, it's a party.
Yeah, dude, it's a party.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Never been though.
Fair enough.
We'll have to ask Hellstrom.
Ha 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 ha!
I mean, I already
Funny.
know about it in Hellboy, so it's like...
Shut up. We're not talking about Hellboy at all. Shut
I'm
up.
going to talk about Hellboy at least once every podcast.
Hellboy, next topic.
From StarWars.com, Disney Plus ordered its next animated series from Lucasfilm, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Fresh off of the critically acclaimed series finale of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the Disney Plus original series will premiere on the streaming service in 2021. The series follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the 7th season of The Clone Wars, as they find their way in a rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. Members of the Bad Batch, a unique squad of clones...
I'm sorry. Colin was doing something weird, but I was laughing before that. Every single time, like, this was announced before I knew stuff was being announced, so I just saw memes about it, and every single time I read the title, I read it as The Bad Bitch.
That me too! Me too! I was like, what? Bad bitch.
And then I saw a meme that looked photoshopped, like, clearly, and I read it and it said Bad Bitch. I was like, wait a minute. And went back to the top. It said,
Bad Batch. I always think it says Bad Bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not going to finish reading the rest of it. Anywho, it's post-Clone Wars with the same stuff. It looks like judging on the piece of promotional material they put out, it's gonna have way more of the Clone Wars type art style compared to Rebels.
Right?
I can finish reading
It's
it
very
for you.
limited series.
They didn't say anything, but you would
It should-
assume it's
it's gotta
probably
be.
gonna be, I'd say 3 seasons
So-
or less.
I can
I've been
finish
wanting-
reading for you because we left off at the sentence
Yes.
post-Clone War, which you just covered. So, giving new and existing fans the final chapter of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, has been our honor at Disney+, and we are overjoyed by the global response to this landmark series, says Agnes Tu, Senior Vice President, Content, Disney+. While The Clone Wars may have come to its conclusion, our partnership with the groundbreaking storytellers and artists at Lucasfilm Animation is only beginning. We are thrilled to bring Dave Filoni's vision to life through the new adventures of the Bad Batch.
So, this, I want to talk about this ever since you said Sebastian Stan. So,
Where are you going with this?
okay, so this has nothing to do with Bad Batch, but Star Wars. So,
Yes, we all know Sebastian Stan looks like young Mark Hamill.
we
know.
need him to be young Luke. We need
No.
more young Luke.
No.
I want to see more Luke Skywalker doing Luke
Stop
Skywalker
treading
stuff.
ground we're already walking all over.
I want it. Sebastian Stan play Luke Skywalker.
I mean,
please.
playing off his idea and while still reading Shadow of the Empire, I mean, that would be pretty cool to see that book series and video game.
Not like a
and
trilogy, but like one movie,
merchandise
like
to
Solo.
just come back.
Yeah, they're definitely done with the movies. That's something I didn't actually put in here, but the Alden Ehrenreich, the actor for Han Solo, confirmed that there are no plans to make a Solo sequel, and he said that it seems
Good.
like it's the end of the spin-off movies. They're just doing the TV shows now.
That's not what I had heard.
What do you mean?
I had
That makes me
heard
very
that they
sad.
weren't doing like AAA, like really big Mega Million movies, but they were gonna
What?
do some smaller spin-off movies to like Solo or something else.
That's
to
what
try to-
you would
need
think
Luke.
that they would do
Luke.
that, but because they obviously took the wrong lesson from Solo because it bombed, not because it was bad, but because they released it poorly in a bad time, right after a
Yeah.
really controversial movie, and it had a
poor merchandising.
it was a really
well,
it was a really
advertising, sorry.
it was a really crazy
Hey.
production too. It cost twice as much as it was supposed to because they
Yeah.
basically remade the whole thing.
Their best advertisement was using Solo cups.
Okay, yes, it was.
All right.
We've
We've been
point.
waiting for that for a while.
Yeah, but there's a rumor
sold
floating
me.
around. While we're on the topic of Star Wars, there's a rumor, a very unsubstantiated rumor from no credible source that there might be a Lando Disney Plus series coming, which I honestly hope they don't do, because I think I wouldn't
Hot
mind.
takes on
I wouldn't
Star
mind
Wars.
if we got a sequel to Solo,
I
but
want
I think we've
that.
covered those characters pretty well, not too much. We've already seen all the famous.
I want more Childish Gambino as
I mean, yes.
Lando.
He was
I'm
phenomenal.
saying
He was
don't
perfect.
Do
Oh, yeah.
Lando as the main character. Do Dash Rendar.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't even know who
Luke
Dash Rendar
Skywalker.
is. Oh my
I don't know.
gosh.
Dash Rendar. Dude, Luke Skywalker, Sebastian Stan.
Anywho,
Green lightsaber.
Okay, Bad Batch. We're getting more animated Clone Wars. There was speculation that it was going to be a Rebels sequel series. Looks like it's going to be a Clone Wars sequel series because most of the Clone Wars and Rebels characters are coming back in The Mandalorian Season 2 in one way, shape, matter, form. So
We're getting everyone in
another
Star
thing.
Wars into season 2.
yeah,
Everyone in Star
that's
Wars.
the next thing coming out. So when is that actually coming out? It's in a
I thought-
while.
That's
It's
next
another
year, right?
reason why they should do Shadows of the Empire because it fits so perfectly in between episodes 5 and 6, and The Mandalorian has the Darksaber at the end of the series,
Yeah.
season 1, and that's yet another book that came out at the same time as Shadow of the Empire. So why are they picking and choosing
Because they're picking and choosing.
from Legends? Like, why Darksaber and not Shadow of the Empire? It's good.
I don't disagree, but also Darksaber has been in canon much longer than The Mandalorian.
But it isn't anymore. It's Legends.
No, the Darksaber. Yeah, you haven't watched the Clone Wars.
No.
No, see that the Mandalorian is a spiritual successor to the animated series as well. It's not tonally, but it's
Yeah.
that's why it's such a big mystery where the hell the Darksaber's coming from is because that was in Clone Wars
And
Rebels.
Rebels.
That's where we saw all this stuff on Mandalore, and then there's this big chunk in the middle where Mandalore
Yes.
got taken over right at the end of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then it turned into the Empire, and they were basically all enslaved. And then we don't know anything aside from they're like none of them left, and they're all underground. There's this big gap
I
of
thought
time
it was the
missing.
book.
No.
Alright.
No.
I guess I
It's
have to
basically like
watch that.
we got all these shows just so we could get Mandalorian show.
Honestly, yeah, and
That's
I'm
what it
pretty
feels
okay
like.
with that.
It's like they practiced.
They
which is
definitely need
cool.
to tread the ground carefully with Mandalorian season 2 in terms of returning characters.
Like Boba Fett. I thought they weren't gonna have Boba Fett because that would take meaning away from Mandalorian.
They said that he was gonna have a tiny role in season 2 and a bit bigger in season 3, which I'm okay with.
Okay, season 3,
and then
sure.
Season 3 confirmed.
Yeah, they said. I believe they said they planned out 3 to 5 seasons. I don't remember which one it was.
Better just
3
be 5.
and 5
Better
seasons?
just be 5.
I think 3's good.
I think 5 is the cutoff.
I like
3,
8.
I'm okay with 3. You shut up. I'm okay with just 3.
Yeah.
Because after a
but
while, it just gets.
They confirmed that Bo-Katan and Ahsoka and Rex and I believe one of the other characters are gonna be in it at some point or another. Yeah. Somewhere in season 2 and
Isn't
possibly
that Green
season 3.
Lantern's, like, pig-looking friend?
No,
Lantern?
that's Oh, how am I forgetting his name? Frick.
No, fine.
Hex.
No. I know his name. What is it? Oh, come on.
Talking about the ball dude.
No, the...
Pig-looking one.
Oh, fudge. What is his name? I know this. I love Green Lantern. Why do I not know this? Crap.
You don't know Green Lantern.
Dude, you didn't even read the book for the topic this podcast, so shut up.
There's no topic this podcast. He's lying.
Because we're covering your ass.
Spencer was taken away and brought back by a clone that's controlled by the bourgeoisie.
You Googling it? Because I'm Googling
Yes, I'm Googling it.
I Googled it first, and I just got people.
Okay, while they're Googling it, I'll take over, and I'm going to be talking about Hellboy.
Oh.
And so Hellboy is this amazing
Kilowog,
comic.
there we go. Found it. I knew it. Okay. Anywho, more Star Wars is good. Sequel trilogy is mixed. Moving on. So this one was actually kind of cool. Actual comic news.
I like kind of cool comic news.
From bleedingcool.com, quote, Skybound Entertainment and Image Comics announced today that The Walking Dead will be getting a colored edition for the first time. Starting this October, the series is returning for a full reprint in full color. Robert Kirkman made the announcement during Skybound Expo this afternoon, revealing the new run, which will be called The Walking Dead Deluxe, with each one of them being colored by artist Dave McCaig? That's a very strange last name.
McKeg?
Something like that. Anywho.
Like a keg of beer?
It's an alcoholic. Don't touch McCaig.
Don't touch McKeg.
So that's cool, because, like, Walking Dead was originally black and white because they couldn't afford color, and then it became an artistic choice. So it's very strange that they're going to do it in color. But...
So I was looking at book number 1 the other day.
Yeah.
Yesterday? Maybe? I don't know. My days run together. But anyway, I pulled up book number 1, and I was trying to figure out, like, if I printed off a single page, how I would color it, and I think it would be kind of difficult to do this the way it is.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to re-ink it.
Yeah, because the shadows are, like,
very
inked
heavy.
in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine for black and white, but it's not going to work well if you just print it off the way it is and try to add color.
No, I think
to
you
it.
could. Desaturation. Because Mike Mignola does that a lot.
You could.
Because it's very dark and just
It's going to
black,
be
so just-
interesting one way
You'd
or
have to
another.
do desaturation, or you could take key, like, pieces of the comic and make it lighter than everything. Like, it looks like it's odd, but it's not. It's eye focus. Like how Hellboy's bright red. Like, it's supposed to be... Yeah, he's not supposed to be here. He doesn't match anything. That's the point. So they could do that.
I don't think any of us have kept up with Walking Dead for a very long time, if at all. I got through the first, like, 100 issues. I really liked it.
Desaturation. Easy.
There's another page I was looking at. Yeah, that one. That one's going to be tough, because, like, the blood is just straight black.
For reference, they're currently looking at the illustrations and debating how they're going to color it.
Just do red around that.
Dang. Alright.
Just do, like, all those, see those blotches you see, like the extra? Make those lighter red. It matches. You can, it's not hard.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Because I'm just a
I'm the
backyard
artsy
color.
boy. Yeah, I'll let you guys take over talking about, like, Walking Dead, because I will never, ever, ever read the comics. I've only watched the show.
Bad memories associated with the show, yeah? Yep. I concur.
Spaghetti while watching Walking Dead.
Oof, that's an...
Or like this bean dip. Remember that? We called it Ebola dip.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
That was stupid.
Alright, moving on from Walking Dead. That's the end of our news, unless anybody has anything that they really, really want to talk about. Okay.
No, I got nothing.
Yeah,
All right.
nothing, man.
So moving on to what we've been reading. Colin, what have you been reading lately?
Oh, so I've been reading like nothing. But like
Do you even comic, bro?
Yes, I do. Have you seen my collection? It's just.
I haven't actually.
Have you not?
I have not.
There's a lot.
Nobody got my
Actually,
pun, and I'm really sad.
You haven't seen my collection, so.
His collection
We're
is
even.
dummy thick. I know
Really?
a lot, but
It's
this
not
dude's
fair.
got a lot of
You gotta
books.
send me a thick pic.
No, I don't wanna. I don't wanna flex.
All right, I'll flex. But I haven't really been reading anything lately because I haven't had time, to be honest. But like, because I have a couple things I want to read and like I also want to watch. So there's so much that's overwhelming that I just sit there and I'm like, what do I do? Because I want to read and watch all of it all at the same time.
Like, I wanna read while I'm watching, while I'm listening, while I'm gaming.
Yes.
It's tough.
Like, I'm not even kidding. Like that's literally what it is, because there's Spencer tells me to watch all these really awesome movies. I'm like, these are actually really good. And then I also want to work on my art
Oh, I do
pieces.
that.
And then I also want to listen to music. But if I want to read, I want to give it my full attention and like grasp everything that I can.
I feel that.
I don't want to
It
just
can be
like
hard to.
like when I read Long Halloween.
Yeah.
I gave that my full attention. I sat outside in a chair.
That's
like,
a
and
good
it was
one to
it
do
was
that.
like it was sunny, but it wasn't hot.
Yeah.
So it was
That's
like,
one of the ones that I read like every Halloween.
that made me happy.
That's very weird.
That's Long Halloween made me happy for some reason.
You have issues.
Yes, but anyway, that's what I've been watching. I mean, like reading is like a little
Nothing.
bit of here and there. I did read some first couple pages of
Watchmen.
no Moon Knight.
Ah.
Didn't you?
So I'm gonna finish. I haven't read it, but I bought.
He
it.
keeps flicking through it and smelling it, but he won't actually.
Nope,
read
I
it.
haven't. I as much as it hurts, I refuse to.
I swear
I
last episode you said you
refuse-
started reading it.
I did start reading it, but
The
like,
first
a couple,
page.
No, a couple pages.
Okay.
It's a couple pages, but like, I don't want to spoil anything for myself, so I won't flip through and smell it. I smell it after I finish it.
Okay.
Like Hellboy, like I don't look at the art at the end.
Hellboy again.
Anyway, your turn.
What have you
My
been
turn.
reading?
So I started by reading Batman Damned, which was a bad idea. Apparently, you have to read Batman Noel and
Joker.
Joker by
Then
what's his
Noel.
name?
The artist is Lieber Mayho.
Liba Mayho.
Oh, who's the writer?
the ri-
Azzarello Nino.
Brian Azzarello wrote
Yeah.
Joker and Damned, and Lieber Mayho did all of Noel himself.
So they're technically tied in.
Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah.
Noel is like loose in the timeline; it doesn't really matter. But the other two are two parts of what is looking to be a trilogy.
So I read part
love trilogies.
3, or I guess part 2, because part 3 isn't out yet. Part 2, and then I went back and read the floating prequel, and then book 1. And then I'm going to read book 2 again. So that's going to be a future episode.
Yeah,
And
that's gonna be a good one.
I can't give you any comment about that.
Next time I'll be talking about Moon Knight. I promise you.
Okay.
It's recorded now, so...
Yeah.
I promise you.
You are gonna be held accountable.
Please help me.
For quite a while, I've had a Fantastic Four omnibus next to my bed, and I was like reading one book a night.
Is it interesting? Is like Fantastic Four good?
Yes, especially the old stuff.
Is it?
Well, here's the thing.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
It was written by Matt Fraction. I forgot to record what year that was, but it's pretty easy to find when you Google Fantastic Four by Matt
I'm gonna
Fraction.
take a stab and say like 2008.
That's what I was thinking too. But anyway, the book is 2 comic lines mashed together. They're in the same timeline, but it starts with Mr. Fantastic finding out that he's dying of some disease quickly, so he builds a freaking time machine and packs the family in the car, and they go back in time.
That's like
Which
literally his
slows
answer
down
to everything.
Time, instead of coming forward and telling his family, hey, I have this problem, I'm going to build a machine to freaking fix it. Meanwhile, in the other comic line, FF, which is short for Fantastic Four, I figured out. Ant-Man, Medusa of the Inhumans, She-Hulk, and Darla Deering also known as Miss Thing, take over Fantastic Tower. Is
There's
that
a
the
Miss
name of
Thing?
The Baxter Building. I got it first.
There's a Miss Thing?
Yes.
What?
She was created in this comic book line.
Huh.
This was her first appearance. And she hasn't been seen since, except for Avengers World number 16. So that's a small detail, too, that I was going to talk about. In book number 1 of FF, she's in bed with Johnny Storm.
Ooh.
And he's like, hey, babe, I'm going to go on this family trip that just came up. And she's like, oh, really? Can I go with you? And he's like, nah, babe, I'm going to leave you in charge of the Baxter Building. And she's like, yeah. But after that book, there's no reference to it at all until the end of the series where she's dating Ant-Man. And then, like, FF ends, and there's
Which Ant-Man
no
is
reference
this?
to it at all.
Which Ant-Man is this? Because most of the Ant-Men get around a bit.
Does anyone care?
Yes.
I don't remember. That would
Is
be
it the wife beater or the one who sleeps around a lot?
I literally don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, that's kind of frustrating.
Wait, so she was with Johnny Storm.
Yep, in book number 1, and then he goes away,
And then...
So I made it to book 7, I think.
So
of
what?
each
What?
series.
So what you're telling me is, she belongs to the streets.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
But she has a human head with like sherbet pink hair, and then the Thing's body, pretty much. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
How?
I mean, she changes back and forth. There's something about when she puts 2 rings on her fingers and they touch or something. I don't know. It was
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. I made it to book 7 of both comic lines until I finally realized that the FF line sucked.
So it does suck.
It does suck.
I figured it would.
So the Fantastic Four line has awesome art. It's kind of boring because they're like, we need 16 interesting times to go back in time to. So it's kind of the same thing over and over again. And
So is this like
they're a family of geniuses, so they talk really smart, and I got bored.
Is this like fluff?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's just fluff.
Yeah,
Like
there's a lot of fluff in it.
It's like
But it looks
it's like you make a
interesting.
whole series and most of the episodes are literally just filler episodes and
Yeah,
no plot
it
at
felt
all.
like an 80s TV show.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah. But then it had FF cut in between pretty much every other book. And that looked like the Dark Knight Strikes Again quality art. Not as bad. It had better lines, but it felt like it was colored in crayon. It was bad.
I mean, you can make crayon look good, but like...
So...
Of course, the artsy one says you can make children's coloring devices look good.
Not because it's not used correctly. You need to melt it.
So, like, the Fantastic Four line was, like, trying to deal with mental things and emotional things and, like, relationship things.
And
it
Jacob's
was,
just like, just go
it was
punch
good.
some stuff.
It was good. But FF was, like, I realized was over-sexualized. Like, Medusa and Miss Thing are always running around in their underwear, and it's like, what the frick? This looks like it's supposed to be a kid's cartoon, and it's the ickiest of the book.
That's usually where it starts, is with kids' cartoons, to start like poisoning that part of your brain.
Yeah.
And then the best part, this is when I realized I was done reading the FF line. So it's like another day in the tower. They're like, oh gosh, we don't know where the Fantastic Four went because they were supposed to be back in 4 minutes our time technically, and they're like, 3, 2, 1. Crap. Like they never come back. So it's just another day in the tower, and then all of a sudden there are these aliens running around. And
they're like, oh, God, give me your president.
In a single page, it's a coming out scene. Like, this, all these genderless aliens, picture, in Toy Story 1, the claw.
Oh my gosh.
Like, one of them comes out and says, yeah, I was a boy, but I now think I'm a girl. And everybody's like, oh, that's so great. And you turn the page, and that's it. it moves back to life, and then it was just so ham-fisted on everything
It's
it was
just like-
trying to do. Yeah. No, just one. That's it. Yep, that's it.
Please stop punching ham now.
So it's not even just the topics that they were trying to cover. It was just so poorly made. I was done.
That's a big oof.
Yeah, that sounds like real sucky. That was a waste of your time.
Yeah, incredible.
I
waste of my
hate when
time.
it happens. That happened to me while I read Doom Patrol by Gerard Way.
So if you guys want to borrow a Fantastic Four comic,
Nope.
half of it's good.
I'm good.
Have you been reading anything else?
I've been reading a couple other things, but well, yeah, sure. I started Batman White Knight.
Nice.
That replaced my bedtime reading, but that one isn't cut into actual comic books in the same novel, so it's kind of harder to split up
Yeah.
in between sleepings. So I'm taking a little bit longer on that one. So I'll get back to you.
Neato. Cool.
It's a good read.
That's all that I'm reading.
I read a decent bit, a lot less than last time. So the first thing that I think was the best thing that I read was Harleen, the 3-issue 2019 DC Black Label miniseries.
See, Black Label is so much better than calling it Maxi Series.
Black Label is the label it's under, not the type of book it is. That's just the phrase of it's adult content, not made for children over here in this corner.
Just call it Moxie.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
It is written and drawn, and I believe colored. It's either colored and inked or something along those lines by the same guy, Stepan Sejic. Probably butchered his name. But something really weird. I went and immediately looked up his work in terms of social media.
Sejic.
He I wouldn't say exactly, but he kind of does pinup art. Not exactly pinup art. It's really weird. Let me explain. It's not like, ooh, yes, like poster pinup art, but
kind that you would have him paint onto your airplane while you fly around and shoot at people.
I think it would be closer to that, but it's really weird.
That's pretty badass.
It's in that vein of like
Pretty badass
he does
waifu.
pretty much entirely female-centric work. But he
So you want a male pinup?
no.
Oh, so you don't
Shut
like
up.
our waifu?
Shut up and let me explain. I was curious because of the way. So I noticed that this dude does a lot of semi-adult oriented content, like across the board. All of the stuff he does. He has his own couple of series. He's worked with DC a few times. But I read the whole book, which this is a quote unquote adult focused book, which
Black Label.
includes and it includes some fairly adult elements. And Harley Quinn's not super sexualized.
That's
Like,
good.
she's very attractive. It's obvious. It's a plot point in the thing that, like, one time she used that to her advantage, and it's still kicking her in the ass today. And it's relevant to the whole relationship with Joker. Like, it's really important, but it's not overly done. There's a couple of times she's, like, because part of it is giving her actual backstory, like a definitive origin, because what we originally got was little tidbits here and there, some contradicting stories, and this obviously isn't in mainline continuity, but you could almost squeeze it in there. So it's just this little contained thing, and it's about her going down this path of craziness. The pseudo tagline of the book is, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like, she's going in with all this good stuff in her heart, and by the end of it, it just doesn't work out.
I'm glad that they're doing that she's like less sexualized, because she's like an actual smart character.
Yeah, it's
She
a really
has-
weird balance. Like, it's not like,
She has
ooh,
a
they
PhD
say...
in psychology.
Yeah, it's a very adult book in how tonal, like, the tone of it and how it handles the topics, but it's not like, ooh, they say a lot. I think there are, like, three
We
or...
have that line in every episode so far.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I have a note here.
Oh.
I'm gonna start bringing in a swear jar as the editor.
So just it's very odd. It feels adult, but it's not trying to push it. It's not being edgy by any means. So it's just her in her career and then meeting the Joker and like in her mind falling in love. It's really weird, but it's actually done convincingly so.
Because
it's from her perspective.
it's because her relationship was what is
Abusive?
it? Well, yes, but like
it's like
it's Stockholm syndrome. Her relationship that is Stockholm syndrome.
Well, they're all
kind
different.
of. So far in the book, it isn't physically abusive yet. It is obviously emotionally abusive because Joker's manipulating her the entire time.
Right.
Of course.
But it's not. By the end of the book, which I don't believe is getting any sequels, I think it's just its own thing. There's like a one issue that got tied into it later. Just he did some more work, but I don't think it's getting anything else. So it's definitely leans into the very sexual vibes between the two of them. It's very relevant. They start screwing in the asylum. It gets weird, but it actually shows a pretty good demonstration of her kind of losing her own grip on reality. And even by the end, which it does do a little bit of a time skip, like she meets up with Batman, and they still both want to save him. They both still want to save Joker, but in an entirely different way. It hints at that little bit of a connection that those two do have because they're the only two people who actually know Joker in any actual capacity.
I'm a little jealous. I've always wanted to do it in Asylum.
Oh my gosh. So there's a couple of panels that I saved that I thought were really interesting. So one of them is her walking away from the asylum, and it's her in her usual doctorate garb, and then her shadow is Harley Quinn with a hammer, and it's a little on the nose, but it is it's just good foreshadowing, and when tied, mine doesn't auto-rotate. When tied with the dialogue that's in the panel, it actually works pretty well. The day I left the Institute was a happy day. I felt like I was leaving all the bullshit behind me, and I was walking to a bright future. I guess there is something to be said about walking towards the light. You tend not to notice the shape of your own shadow. And I thought that was a really good way to sum up the whole book.
I like that.
That I think was just one of the...
I like that.
There's a lot of other stuff that I'm not
like
going to
it,
get into. There's lots of stuff with Two-Face and yada, yada, yada. But that was a good culmination to kind of describe it.
Two-Face?
Not going into that part. That's way too much. And then
Alright.
something Jacob had mentioned is that Joker's not really funny that often anymore. It's usually really serious, and he's sadistic, and he makes jokes, but he's not, like, we, the reader, don't find him funny.
Right.
When Harley goes to take off his straitjacket one time, he says, "Are we gonna need a safe word? Mine is Batmobile," and it was just that got me like giggling like a little girl. It was absolutely hilarious.
That is really good.
And
And to be honest, Batmobile is my safe word too.
of course it does. Anywho, it's short. The art is really nice, at least to my liking. It's not overly complicated. It's simple and clean, and it's very seductive in its atmosphere, not because it's all soft and over sexualized. Just the combination of the inking and the coloring gives off a very inviting atmosphere.
I'm really impressed with the Black Label stuff so
Most
far.
of it's been phenomenal.
Joker and Lex Luthor you said is good, and you're now telling me that the Harleen is really good. Like, those books all have the same kind of cover too, so
Yeah.
or cover art, so I'm
Right.
really impressed.
Something else I read, which I don't want to go too much in depth on, was Batman Year 2. It's 4 issues from 1987, written by Mike Barr, illustrated partially by Alan David and partially by Scott McFarlane.
Who wrote Year 1? Was that
Year
Frank
1,
Miller?
Year 1 was Frank Miller. Yeah,
Alright.
Year 1 is phenomenal, and Year 2 is not good. It's some elements of it were lifted from Mask of the Phantasm. The very few parts that work, like the sense of the Grim Reaper type villain being shadowy and having to deal with Batman like coming to terms with destiny in a way. But past that, it's just pretty mediocre. It's really over the top and dramatic, like melodramatic. The colors are really gross. Sometimes the Scott McFarlane parts, anyway. I thought some of the art was pretty good in terms of line work, but it just doesn't flow well. There's a short-lived sequel series to that came out shortly after, where the character, the Reaper that Batman defeated in the first one, comes back, but it's somebody else, and it's actually Joe Chill's son, who also has a son. And it's just so melodramatic. There's some decent ideas in it in terms of like lineage and breaking the cycle of violence,
That
but
just sounds
man,
like,
is it over the top.
That just sounds like they weren't creative enough to come up with their own.
That's
good
what the
bad
vibes
guy.
it gives me. Yeah, it's just not great. I also read Batman Black Mirror, which is 11 issues, came out between 2010 and 2011, written by Scott Snyder, illustrated by Jock, because that's how he presents himself, and Francavilla. So the two artists alternated on different parts of the books. It's during the period after Batman died and then was resurrected, but he still left Dick Grayson to be Batman for a little while. He was off forming Batman Incorporated. So it's a very Gordon-centric story.
I've read that one before.
Yeah, it's really good.
I was very confused the first, at least one time, if not 2 times.
If you forget it's Dick Grayson, it's really weird.
Yeah.
If you forget that it's not Bruce Wayne, you're so confused.
Well, there's no, like...
If you skip over a few dialogue bubbles and you don't pay attention to the tone of the Batman speaking, you can get weirded out.
There's no, like, Star Wars crawl introduction
No.
at the beginning of it. It's just, like, you're into it, and it's like, you find out
It
later.
was part of the ongoing series at the time that just got collected.
So, there definitely needs to be a quick summary at the beginning.
Yeah.
And there isn't.
I do definitely agree. I think in the collected edition there's a foreword, but not in most of them. But it's Dick Grayson being Batman while Bruce is off doing other stuff, and it's James Gordon Jr. In case you didn't know that Commissioner Gordon has a son, he's somewhere in the psychopath-sociopath spectrum. It's a surprisingly emotional story in terms of Gordon and Barbara, and then having a very different type of Batman dealing with the crime escalation in Gotham around this person coming back. It's a very big lead up, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But you feel a very different type of Batman, and like the cops notice, they know it's somebody different, they can tell. Gordon isn't confirmed to know it's Dick until later in the book near the end, but you can tell he knows it's not Bruce. But there's a few pieces of dialogue I wanted to read just to give kind of a vibe of how it's different that I really liked. So basically, Dick is talking to it's Tim Drake, who's currently Red Robin. They're just going back and forth while he's in the Batwing. He's talking over the intercom communication system, whatever, and he just literally starts pretending like he's breaking up because he's getting uncomfortable. Like, it's Dick, like the oldest brother, just pretending that he can't hear the other ones, harassing him and giving questions and poking fun at him because he's just getting weirded out. Mm-hmm. Like the thing we all kind of do, like we're like, hey, I'm going through a tunnel or whatever. We start like screwing with the phone to make it sound all staticky. He just does that, and it's just really funny because he's getting asked about girls, and Dick Grayson has a weird history with girls.
As we know, yes.
Yeah, so I just thought that was really funny. And then there's another one, which he's talking to Tim Drake again, and he said, no, but be careful, Red Robin. They're wearing sunglasses at night, which means they're very, very cool. He cracks very different jokes than Bruce Wayne does. And you can feel the difference in addition to him just physically looking different in the suit.
Yep.
I love that.
He had, I think, about two or 3 years where he was Batman, which is where Damian Wayne kind of got kicked up into the main sphere of influence. But I just really enjoyed that one. You can kind of speed through it for being 11 issues. And then I also read Flashpoint, just the main event book, not all of the tie-ins. It's 5 issues, 2011, Jeff Johns and Andy Kubert. It's a little messier than I remember, to be frank. I still really like it. I like the fact that it's a very Flash-centric story in terms of like him getting back to his wife. And then you have Flashpoint Batman of Thomas Wayne sending a letter into the future for his son in a different reality. Mm-hmm. That's really emotional. In this, like, you have this murderer Batman who writes a letter for Flash to take to his son, who he in his own reality is dead, and he's just like, please don't be bad like me. Basically, right. And Batman just he rips off the cowl and he just starts crying in the Batcave in front of people. That doesn't happen. So it's a pretty brief read. The art is quite good, nothing spectacular, but the Flash writing itself is very well on point. Yeah, it's the simplest of all the DC Crisis events to read by far. It's also the shortest.
So how does it compare to the animated Flashpoint and also the CW freaking screw up of it and
the animated movie is a bit more condensed and a little cleaner in terms of like world history. It's a lot more Flash centric, a lot more Flash and Batman centric. I think that's a better way to experience it first, honestly, because it does tie into a lot of the spin-off, the supplemental material. The main comic book does anyway. It spins off to all these other books of in this reality, what's been going on, what happens in the future. And it's good. It's all very good content. It's very interesting. It's just, it can feel a little overwhelming when it's so drastically different of a reality.
I've started the animated one once or twice, and each time it pissed me off that his mom is like, here's something that my grandmother used to tell me, and it's the freaking Sailor's Prayer or whatever the heck it is.
I don't think that was in the book. I might be wrong.
It's like,
I also sped through this book.
How unique.
Very punny.
Grandma.
I sped through a Flash book. Haha. Yeah, I don't remember that. And then the CW Flash version was pretty dumb. I don't want to talk about that show. It was okay. It was fine. It was good enough, but it's a very different story than what they decided to do with it. And that's what I've been reading.
Aren't
Yay.
they coming out with... Oh no, it was rumors about the new Batman movie possibly being Flashpoint, right?
No, the new Flash movie being a Flashpoint movie.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, no, the Ezra Miller Flash movie is going to be some form of a Flashpoint. Something.
I really don't think I want that.
It looks like they're taking a different direction with it.
But it's Flashpoint yet again.
This is true. It does seem like there was a bit of a fustercluck of Flashpoint since, like 2011 to now-ish. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
Which is understandable because it's a big event that was well-received and interesting, has a lot of cool stuff in it. So it's bound to get wound into the public consciousness, but also it's a bit much.
I wonder if I'm going to have to edit that word. Fustercluck.
That's why I said fustercluck.
I
also say fustercluck more often than I say the other way around.
I also think it's kind of funny how you like took a breath and thought about how you were going to say it and then said it. Like, just to make sure you didn't say it the other way around.
Yep.
We're very professional on this podcast.
Flustercluck.
So that's what I've been reading. So, Colin, what have you been watching?
Oh, okay, so...
He has to check his notes.
Yeah. I have been watching Naruto. It's actually really hard to get into because, like, every episode is, like, a part to the main story of that episode. It feels weird. It's like they made one episode and spread it into 6 episodes. And they're long, too, because it's very, like, dialogue-driven, which is kind of weird for what it is about.
So, I have read the title 100 billion times and I've never figured out how to say it. Naruto?
Yeah, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it could be like Naruto.
They don't even say it in the TV show?
Well, I listened to dubbed for this one because what I use it for is there's so many, and like I need something while I'm drawing and like I'm like just doing something, but I don't need something that's like gonna take my attention. So like.
So what is the general summary of the show?
Okay, so it's like. It's almost like modern ninja samurai culture in like Asia, and so it's just like a bunch of clans and everything, and the main characters revolve around these like 3 kids and their sensei who are in the village hidden in the leaves. Again, I haven't really been paying attention to it. It's just nice to have like there, especially for what it is right now. So
how do you feel about the artwork in the show?
It's anime, so like I don't give too much about anime because sometimes they're a lot of like the same, but art style actually surprisingly changes during anime, but it really just changes with time. That's the funny part. It's not.
Well, so did the Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's more like it's not an art style from different people. I haven't done much research into the art style of it, but what I see is that it's like they're all doing the same art. It's like different artists doing the same art, but the art style only changes with over time. So right now it's like it feels like it's almost 90s art style, but Naruto's really long. It's really long. It's got like 9 seasons, I think, in the first one. Then it goes to movies, which is there's like 6 or 7 movies, and then there's Naruto Shippuden, which is when they're older, and then there's like Boruto, which is Naruto's son. So the whole point of what I'm doing with the show is just watching it to have something there, and it's like a forever show because like I get super sad when I finish a show, and I don't know what to do with myself, and then I'm like a useless piece of slob.
And not to shame, but he's excitedly talking about anime while wearing a Japanese frock called a
Nuragi.
Yeah.
Weeb.
Shut up. They're super comfortable and they're light for like summer, so it's just nice to have. I've been watching that while I'm drawing, and then I recently rewatched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is a really good, like Spencer said, feel-good movie. It's
Gives you warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
Makes you believe in humanity for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you step outside and you hate humanity again.
Because I love Miles Morales.
You never know what'll sweep you off your feet.
I was thinking Under Oath, but okay.
I was thinking Tolkien.
Both
how their brains
great
work.
philosophers, in my opinion. Back to Spider-Verse.
Honestly, I don't really have much to say other than I love the art that they went with. I love how like at first what year did that come out?
2018.
Really? Okay.
2018.
I was still like annoying then. So anyway, like I was really annoyed with like Gwen's hair. For some reason when I was younger, I was annoyed with that. Yeah, like why is it shaved? It's not like that in the comics. I was like,
it's almost like that's a thing in the movie that they established that it got ripped off.
I'm getting there. You shut up. I'm getting there, okay? Anyway, like Spencer just took that point away from me, is that it's established in the movie that, you know, her hair has to get shaved because Miles Morales has his hand stuck to her head because of his Spider-Man powers, not because of anything else. This is so hard to talk about. Anyway, it's a great movie.
So hard to be polite about a kid's movie.
Yeah. I should probably just stop talking about it. It's a good movie. That's what I've been watching.
When I watched it, I didn't know anything about it. Like, I went in completely blind, and people in my household kept popping their head in, and they're like, what are you watching? And I'm like, I think I'm watching the best Spider-Man movie ever.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, in existence right now. And
it's easily at a tie with Spider-Man 2.
It's
very different type of movie.
You mean Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Haha, you're
Wait,
so
you like
funny.
Spider-Man 2 more?
Yes.
I thought Spider-Man 1 was the best one of those 3.
It's a lot.
I
thought Spider-Man 3 was the best of those 3.
Jacob, stop lying.
Off.
No, actually, I do. Like,
what?
Number 3.
I actually do like it a lot. It's just messy.
What?
It is messy, but I like that
Venom
there's
was not
so
even
much
supposed to
going
be
on,
in
and I
that.
kind of fill in my own blanks.
Venom
so.
wasn't even supposed to... Oh yeah, the Prowler. Dude, the Prowler. Oh, okay, you just like popped it back in my head.
The music
of
Into the Spider-Verse is mind-blowingly good.
The Prowler is the best part, and I love the story of just... It's Miles Morales. He's like this almost neutral, but he's also... He's obviously the good guy, but...
It's a movie about expectations.
Yeah, and his father is a cop, and his uncle is like a secret assassin almost, and it's just so funny because it's like you get lawful good, and then you get like neutral evil.
Wow, we just went completely D&D.
Yeah, I know. That's like the best way to explain
It's true, though.
it.
And
that is literally the best way to explain
that.
any character.
I think the thing that the movie did the best, aside from art and music and character, was it boiled Miles Morales down a lot better than he had been done before. When he was introduced, he was good, but it was still a little messy. His parents were both S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and it was just a little much.
Ew.
He's gotten much better over the years, and he was never bad.
The movie's better.
That's what I'm saying. Is he was a little closer to a. I don't want to say he was ever a Peter Parker ripoff because he wasn't.
No.
But he was closer to that than he is in this, where he's artistic, and
Yeah,
he's
he draws.
He's a book nerd, and he does graffiti art, and he listens to rap music instead of being a pseudo Peter Parker clone.
See, the funny thing is, I always thought I related to Peter Parker, but then I realized, wow, I really suck at science and math. And then Miles Morales, and I'm like, wow, I relate to Miles Morales way more.
You are also half black and half Hispanic.
Yes, I am.
For reference, Colin is probably the whitest person in this room.
I don't know. One arm's tanner than the other.
That's driver's arm.
Yes, I hate it.
So anyway, the only complaint I have about Spider-Verse, and I haven't heard it anywhere else, is that there's a couple of shots in it that look like it was made in that really crappy blue and red glasses 3D, and then poorly converted.
That was part of the art style.
Yeah.
You didn't like that?
No,
I didn't like that either.
I
kinda
really
ugly.
liked that.
I thought that was very hard for my eyes.
Yeah.
It was
I
hard. It was
really
hard in my
liked that.
eyes.
Okay, I'll keep that one to myself.
Yeah,
I really liked what they did with the
It's
art.
probably trying to tickle your nostalgia factor
Oh,
for watching that really crappy 3D
Definitely.
technology. But
I loved.
I thought it was kind of.
I liked the type of cell shading that they did. It was
the
very
rest of the
comic
artwork
book
is freaking
indicative.
beautiful.
Yeah, no, I loved every time that they did something, they threw something. It wasn't the background. It was the comic book colors.
Yeah.
Like the purple,
Yeah, and they actually had a lot of the sound effects on screen.
And they even did
just...
comic book panels sometimes. It'd be
Yep.
three shots in one, and it'd be long rectangular.
Right.
Like
So yeah, the
vertical.
artwork is amazing. It's just the failed 3D movie conversion
I don't think it was.
thing that I didn't like.
I don't think it was failed. I think.
No, it's just that's what it looks like. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's just the art style that they went for. That's the only thing I don't like about that.
It just
we
hurts
agree
my
on
eyes
that.
to look at.
Yeah, that's definitely not the complaint I have, but...
What's your complaint?
What's your complaint?
I really don't like Penny Parker. Call it me not liking anime, but I
hate Penny Parker. Sorry.
I don't have. It's not like I. It's just not a character for me. The
No.
version
Any humans out there listening that just happen to be called Penny Parker,
like the
your parents did not make a mistake.
You suck.
like the it's pretty similar to the character in the comics. It's just so different. And that's not a bad thing. It just doesn't feel like it fit in very well.
No.
Like the difference in the mashing of the art styles with
We could have lived without her in that movie.
Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir is comedy gold.
It's
Part
good.
of me wishes they took Spider-Man Noir really seriously, but that's because I'm a little bit of an edgy 14-year-old on the inside.
This cube, I'll take it with me. I loved that.
I like that they're
Noir
he's so
anyway. I don't care what it is.
He's so self-serious. He burns matches so he can feel that. Yeah, it's funny. Peter Parker was great, and Penny Parker, I get it's a very nice contrast in animation. Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham.
It's just, it felt a little weird, and it was such a stark contrast to all the other animated styles.
I think it was too much, the Penny Parker.
It's just because there are 3 additional, secondary characters. You have Miles, and you have Peter B, and then you have Gwen, and then you have the other 3. I think 2 of them probably would have been better. And Penny feels like the one that should have gone because...
Yeah, you could live without her in that movie.
Yeah,
She didn't add anything to it.
Not a lot, no.
She just
anime
added
one
the
was a little
kawaii!
Yeah, and that
all that.
sort of...
the anime I don't like.
Yeah, it's just not for me. There's something
Yeah.
wrong with it. It just... I see it, I'm like, can we get back to Nicolas Cage being in black and white with a top
That was
hat?
the best decision ever to have Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man.
That's honestly
I
my
never
only
thought
real
I'd say
complaint
that.
about that movie. I can watch it on loop all the time. I get sick of other Spider-Man movies, even the ones I love. That one I will put on all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with Spider-Man movies, to be honest. And I haven't even seen Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm just kind of done with...
That one's
It's impressive.
predictable.
It's impressive because Colin did Spider-Man cosplay 3 years ago.
That was because my taste just changes, okay?
I know. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Getting old is weird.
Getting old is very weird. It
Jacob,
sucks.
what have you been watching?
Well, I watched The Old Guard, which is new to Netflix
Yep.
as of last week, and I was kind of waiting. I heard about it on a certain podcast, and I was like, oh, that could be cool, and then I heard about it again somewhere else, and I think one more time, and everybody was like, yeah, it's good. So I was like, alright, sure, I'll try it.
Is
I
it good?
usually don't jump on the bandwagon early. I wait until it fizzles out, and then I go back and watch it.
Because you're a hipster.
No, he's just behind the times.
Anyway,
It's not what being hipster is.
I found that it was surprisingly and overwhelmingly flat and generic.
Told you!
Yeah.
I knew it. I saw it. I was like, I saw the trailer, and I was like, we die, but we don't die,
Yeah.
and we've got guns.
So it, like everybody else
Old
is
guy.
saying, it's Highlander and in a modern time. I forget what other kind of
My dad would probably like
inspirations
that.
go into it. But what really bugged me about it, like people are praising the action scenes, and I thought they were just fine.
Normal.
They felt like a TV fight scene, like not
You know-
a movie fight scene. The
You know-
story was pretty predictable, I thought. Especially, they set up a previous team member. They tell that person's backstory and how they're no longer part of the team.
They come back.
See?
Of
Yeah.
course they come back.
Well, yeah.
They come back as the villain.
Dun dun dun!
What
Yeah.
a twist.
What a twist.
I called
Very
it while they
twisted.
were setting it up. It was so bad.
Very
So,
twisty.
You know who,
I mean, I'll watch the next one, but I've got very low expectations.
you know what
of it.
show has the best action scenes?
What
Daredevil!
Ah.
Of course it is. The hallway scene,
I thought
the
you were-
staircase scene is the best one. in
I thought
season
you were-
No,
I thought you were
no.
gonna say Iron Fist.
Prison scene.
I totally forgot about the prison scene.
Yeah,
that
he-
was badass.
And Charlie Cox did that himself. He didn't have a stunt double for that fight.
He needs to be rehired as Daredevil, no matter who
Oh,
owns
yes.
it. And
Yeah, he needs to be Daredevil.
I
too
don't
late.
care about the rights.
He needs to be like
is
Daredevil in
The
Spider-Man
rights-
3 for Spider-Man's lawyer.
The rights are reverting back to Marvel shortly, like late this year, early next year, for all that stuff. So eventually, we'll get there.
Imagine my fangirls.
Oh, yeah.
Squiggling.
Anything else?
Oh, there's plenty.
Oh.
I watched Legion Season 2. That took a little bit longer than Season 1. This one was difficult to watch. Legion Season 1, I binged in I forget what I said,
I think
like
you said a
3
couple-
days?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it was coherent, and I understood what was going on, but I couldn't predict at all what was coming, but it was enjoyable. When something changed, it wasn't like a randomizer, just spat something out.
Right.
It was really enjoyable. Legion Season 2 was kind of investigated all the characters separately. They were all split up, and they bring in a lot of weird, time traveling. He gets a warning from the future, and they're trying to figure out what that means. And it was kind of choppy and very complex. It wasn't as easy to follow. So I kind of lost steam watching it. But the ending kind of had a good twist at the end. It kind of wrapped it up together in a decent way. So I'm kind of thinking I might rewatch it now that I know how it ends and see if I was just sleeping through it or something. So I don't know. I really enjoyed Season 1. Season 2 was a bit meh. And
That sucks.
I'll probably watch Season 3 because it's the last one. And there's
Excellent.
8 episodes, so why not?
Yeah, why
dang.
not?
So my local movie theater opened up last
Oh.
week.
How?
Thankfully.
What are they showing? Because there's nothing coming out.
Funny you ask.
Oh.
They're showing a bunch of timeless classics
Ooh.
like Jaws, Jurassic Park,
The ones you can always get the Gen Xers to come out to watch.
Iron Man 1, which is what I was planning to go
Whoa.
see. Goonies.
What?
Trolls 2, I think, because that was in theaters before the whole...
Nah, Trolls 2 got released. It was the first thing to get properly released on home media. That was the first. Oh, it's officially a home release, but you still have to rent it like a movie.
So there you go. So maybe my theater bought the rights and got
Yeah.
screwed by the
Probably.
pandemic. Oopsies. But the one that I went to see instead of Iron Man was The Outpost,
Oh.
which I had no idea what it was. So I'm standing in the movie theater, like on IMDb on really crappy Wi-Fi, trying to figure out what it is. It was a war movie based in Iraq, Afghanistan.
I think so.
It was released July 3rd. It has Scott Eastwood, which is Clint Eastwood's son.
Yep.
It has Caleb Landry Jones, who I did not recognize, but apparently he's in X-Men First Class and Get Out, which I haven't seen.
Yep.
Much to Spencer's chagrin.
Yep.
It has Orlando Bloom in it.
Oh.
It has Milo Gibson in it, who is
Mel Gibson's
Mel
kid.
Gibson's kid. It has James Jagger in it, which is Mick Jagger's kid. It has Jack Kessie, maybe?
Is he somebody else's kid?
Probably. I didn't research that, actually.
I mean,
He
I'm
might not
pretty
have
sure-
parents.
Oh.
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's someone's kid.
No.
Some people
Jack
just-
Kessie definitely does not have parents.
Some people just pop out of the ground, Colin. Don't discriminate.
Some
Right.
people are brought to their, adoptive parents by storks.
Also true.
Anyway, he played Black Tom in Deadpool 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
I never saw Deadpool 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I just realized that.
I liked it much better than Deadpool
I think
1.
that-
The
I don't
list
know.
of
Wait, when
things
did
we
that
need
come
to
out?
get Colin to watch is disgusting.
And read.
2017, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was before I could even watch that movie.
Oh, he's so young.
I was like 16 when
So
it
anyway,
came out.
Yeah, I know.
The Outpost, just to give a brief summary, is about a group of army guys, I believe it was army, is told to defend an outpost in the bowl of a valley in Afghanistan, and it's like 360 degrees of sheer cliff, basically.
Oh, so it's one of those single setting movies.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
I am a
like
sucker
Lone
for
Survivor or something like that.
Lock.
It's like,
Strongly recommend that
it claims to be based on a true story. I don't know
movie.
if it is or not, but it was done very, very well. It's probably the best war movie I've ever seen. Besides Longest Day, because that's a classic.
You seen 1972? Or 1912, I mean.
1917.
1917. Wow, I own that on Blu-ray. I don't know. Okay, so 1917.
I have not.
It's a good
really
movie.
should.
It's a really
phenomenal.
good movie. We saw it in theaters together. That was like
Oh,
one of
yeah.
our first
Oh.
He
dates.
tried to hold my hand. He got so scared.
I didn't try. I did hold your hand. Okay, you shut up, and you enjoyed it. You know you did.
No, I was comforting you because you were so spooked.
No.
I was spooked in this one. I couldn't figure out a nice way of saying it to the person that the movie reminded me of, but I just found him later in the week, and I shook his hand and said, "Thank you for your service." So it was just one of those movies that was like, dang, these people actually went out there and did something like this. Like, this is kind of a representation of what these guys have seen. So it was pretty good.
Putting that on my list to do.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
The Outpost.
The Outpost.
It's at my local movie theater if you want to go. The last thing that I put under what I've been watching, because technically I have to watch it, is a video game that I tried called Void Bastards.
Huh.
It is... The artwork is very comic booky.
Like
it's,
Borderlands?
No, even more comic booky than that. Like, it is cel-shaded, I guess.
Walking Dead?
But it's got actual frames in
Oh.
it, and it's always changing, and it's framed within frames, and...
Oh, is it like a multiple choice video game?
No, it's a first-person shooter,
How?
kind of.
Eh.
You have guns, I guess, but it's not like...
If you want to call pots guns.
It's not a fun first-person shooter. It's it's stealth shooter, I guess, is how you would describe it. So yeah, you're a prisoner, and you escape, and you're flying around and eating food that you find from ships, and burning gas flying around, and you just dock like up to a whole bunch of ships along the way of where you're trying to get to, and you go in and shoot all the bad guys, don't get shot, and your health carries over from jump to jump.
Okay, that's cool.
The food heals you like 50 points or something, so you can like burn food if you're like really hurt. You have permadeath, so when your character dies, there's a little thing that jumps out of your back and ships back to the home ship and connects to another prisoner. And they have traits that change randomly in between each prisoner. So the way I described it in my notes was Rogue Legacy as a first-person shooter with way too much stealth. I died as my first character, and I didn't realize that the traits were randomized, so it gave me a new person, and it says colorblind, and I was like, alright, I was gonna quit, but that's interesting. So yeah, it was just black and white, and the first ship I got to had a little closet that you could get you had 3 options of what you could change about your character, and I immediately got rid of colorblind, and it was the same game, and I'm like, this is really freaking boring. Like, it's a lot of good ideas, but it's just, you jump from ship to ship and find the same things and just keep doing that. So,
Yeah.
So it's like the Infinity Train in Adventure Time. You passed that already?
Yeah.
Nice.
so that's what I've been watching.
Nice. As Colin just referenced... No. As Colin just referenced Adventure Time, I've been binging the hell out of that.
Good.
I just got into season 6.
That's a good season.
Yeah. So I've got through the end of season 3, 4, and 5. Something that is driving me insane and why it's being so weird to binge. The episode count per season is all over the place.
Yep.
The first few are like 15 to 25. Season 4, I think it is like 50 episodes.
Yeah.
And then the next one's like 20. It's all over the place. And it's just driving me crazy. All the episodes are like 10 to 11 minutes. It's just weird because there's so many episodes.
Just wait till they get like actually story oriented.
Yeah. Oh, they're getting there.
Like once you get to Stakes. Stakes is my favorite storyline.
I think I'm right near that one.
Or Marceline. It's
Yeah.
mainly about Marceline.
Yeah.
Marceline's my favorite character.
I know, because she's a sad person. Yes.
No.
No, it's because you want to date her.
No.
Yes, it is.
I am dating Abby, and I am very happy.
You're deflecting.
No, I'm not. Marceline's great because she's a demon. That's why.
Been enjoying it. I have a weird hot take. I actually like the earlier stuff more. Not in terms of quality, but how like actually just like monster of the week it is. It's just, ooh, bad things happen. We fix it. Yay. Food. It is really silly. It develops in terms of like theme, and the quality gets better as time goes on. It's just sometimes I like how cyclically kind of stupid it is in the beginning. It's just the same stupid crap happening over and over again, and they enjoy it.
Just like Phineas and Ferb.
Kinda, yeah. That's actually not a bad comparison.
I actually like Phineas and Ferb.
Me too.
Because it's Phineas and Ferb. It's just cyclical.
Oh,
Right.
I
It's
can't.
like, all right,
That makes me sad.
what is the innator in this episode? 'Cause
Yeah.
that makes me
Yeah,
laugh every
yeah, I
single time.
loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
My pie destructor and eater.
yeah, so I've been enjoying that quite a bit. It's just one of those things that kind of keeps getting me through the day. You know, can pop on an episode basically wherever, like while I'm cooking. Doesn't matter. They're 10 minutes.
Willie's on this.
Yep.
Taking a fat boogie.
Yeah, also there. So yeah, been watching a lot of Adventure Time. I rewatched Joker again a couple of days ago. Paying more attention to some stuff, enjoying it a little less as time goes on, but kind of appreciating it more. There's a weird line there. It's
Colin's
very
getting wicked
strange.
butthurt as we talk.
You're not enjoying Joker anymore? It's probably because you're watching it too much.
No.
And how can you not enjoy Joker?
I hated it, dude.
What? Why?
hated it.
Why? Explain
It-
yourself.
I have this kind of the same opinion. It doesn't affect me as much. It asks a lot of questions and has no answers.
Yep.
And not
I'm
being
sitting all the way over here from now on.
wow. Wow. Somebody has a different opinion than you and you run away.
Yes. I hate you now.
I think-
Congratulations. I still like it, and especially in terms of the technical stuff, like visually, acting, music, it's still really phenomenal.
It did have a great soundtrack.
and the way that like symbiotically worked with how they like made it. She wrote a lot of the music and they used it on set while he was performing, so it fuses together. But the script is pretty freaking weak. Now that I've watched it enough times and paid attention, the writing it has some pretty good strong points for sure, but there's a lot of it that's just this is pushing my believability, and some of it's just kind of dumb. But I still enjoy it. The things that I enjoy in like the physical aspect overcome my problems for the most part.
So
I came back so lonely.
That was a good bit, actually. We're running long on time, and there's a lot of emotions flying, and
We're gonna do a full episode on that eventually.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. I gotta see it one more time.
Me too.
Yeah.
I gotta watch Phantasms.
Yes. We're doing that before the next episode.
Oh no! I'm sorry.
I rewatched BVS again. I have no new words.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know.
Shocker.
Yeah, I was putting out there like I just did it in the background. I was like I'm putting it on HBO Max even though I own it like to boost the numbers.
How much?
Even though I own it in my library.
How much
Yes.
of it can you like say along with the line as it's playing 3 rooms down on the lowest volume setting?
90%, probably most of it.
Those are rookie numbers. You need to boost those numbers out.
Yeah. No. No.
What a rookie.
Watched it probably 5 times since the year started. It's just the way it goes.
That's it?
It's a comfort movie, at least for me.
That's so funny. I love that. It's a comfort movie.
I mean,
Superman dies. It's a comfort movie.
Man of Steel is like the comfort movie in terms of that. But some days I want to look at dummy thick Batman. Okay.
Okay, so I love Man of Steel, but like I'm trying to get Abby to watch these Batman movies, and I want her to watch BVS. I want her to watch it so badly, but I know she has to watch Man of Steel first, and I know she's gonna get bored of it because I get bored of it a little bit.
Why are you dumb? It's a freaking alien invasion movie.
Remember,
So-
I'm not big into aliens, actually. Like, I'm really not.
I have the answer for both of you. Why it's a comfort movie for Spencer and why Colin doesn't like it. It's because, as we
Talking about Man of
just
Steel.
confirmed
Yes.
a couple of months ago, all the Kryptonian architectures made to look like dongs.
Oh, you just went there.
What?
Yeah. No. All the
So, what
like the what he's alluding to is saying Spencer is gay, which is a joke, I guess.
I thought it was funny.
I enjoyed it.
Peak comedy. Peak male comedy anyway. Yeah, and then I because I had started watching the animated adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns like months ago. I got 5 minutes in and then I fell asleep just because I was dead tired.
That is my life.
It wasn't because I was bored. I just turned it off.
I cannot tell you how many times I have seen the first 5 minutes of a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you what they're about. It's just like, I don't know, it was a song and then
Yeah.
It was a song.
song played over credits. And
Yeah. So I watched
was
both
black.
of those last night and was more impressed than I was last time in terms of
Dang.
it's obviously an adaptation that it gets, as we did discuss when discussing the Dark Knight Returns book, it's a bit more literal of an adaptation, but it's very well on point and it's a lot easier to consume than the book is. Obviously, it's visual. It's a automated visual media.
So what you're saying is you've tried to like eat the book before, and it was not very easy to do.
Yes,
But the DVD, since it was smaller, it was very easy.
that is correct.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, no.
DVD tastes better than Blu-ray, by the way.
Does it really?
Yeah, because
I thought there'd be a lot more flavor. in
Blu-ray's
Blu-ray.
thicker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
denser, too. It
Oh,
holds
Yeah,
really?
more
it
memory.
has
I-
more data on it.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it'd be like, I don't know, like more moist, so it like goes down faster.
No.
Where does the moisture come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
The added colors, you know.
I think it actually has a protective sheen.
It does.
Oh, like a sausage.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
slides right
Oh,
down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I actually prefer eating VHS tapes.
Really?
do.
Yeah,
Oh, is
You were
it?
the one licking windows on the school bus, weren't you?
probably.
Oh,
if I
you
had
definitely
if
were.
I had ridden on a school bus during my actual school years, yes.
Well,
So what
sometimes.
you're saying is you never went to school.
And what I'm saying is we didn't own a school bus in my family. No,
You didn't? I thought every family did. Is
No.
that just
Oh, the
me?
minivan.
No. We definitely had the minivan, and yes, my tongue was on that window at least.
I knew it.
I believe it too.
As if yours wasn't.
No, my boogers were, dude.
I was always
Alrighty then.
finger drawing on it.
Yeah, it's just like that. My dad would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not doing anything." As my fingers in my nose.
Yeah, so that's what I was watching. I enjoyed that quite a bit, and something I know Jacob and I talked about was the mutant dialogue being really rough to read, and I just, it bugs me, and it doesn't really bug him.
Bob, John.
Yeah, like sometimes it makes sense, and then it's just sometimes it's really rough to read when it's being done. When it's done audibly, it's a lot easier to consume, and it feels better, and also it was polished a little bit more.
Billy?
But
Ain't no Billy.
yeah, some of that, like that stuff is fine. It's just the really random uses of third person just drive me up a wall. It's just weird.
I'm glad that that's in there because that's another nod to just modern day like teenagers or just teenagers in general and
They're
like
just freaking
young
stupid.
adults. Yeah, like a lot of them are stupid because you can tell they're stupid because they're just joining like the alpha male or whatever, like whatever they think is going to bring them power. Which that's what I liked about the mutants.
Yeah.
It's just to show that
It's just
we young adults are stupid, but we also can be smart.
I think it was actually Colin that said it was hard to read, not me. He's more
no. I
intelligent.
said it was hard to read.
Yeah, but you said that you and I talked about it, and I'm giving credit to Colin because I think it was him.
Okay.
I said it was harder to read.
Anyway.
I'm the intellectual. We know this. I have the neurology. I am the intellectual weeb.
Do you want to go get the body pillow?
You're not allowed to touch the body pillow.
I don't
okay?
wanna
I wouldn't
touch it.
want to touch it.
No.
Yeah, you do.
I'm sure it's covered in all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
Lotion.
you do. Lotion, lots of it.
Yeah, okay. That's basically all I've been watching. I've been working a lot, so I haven't had time. So
Oh,
just
you're an
cramming
adult.
adventure
You've been
time.
working a lot. Oh, you're an adult.
No time for comic books.
No time for comic books for me.
Yeah, but who's still read all the preparatory material?
Which brings us to our next topic. We don't have a main topic for this episode because someone didn't do the required reading.
I've been an adult and I've been working a lot. Who does that sound like?
Excellent impersonation and deflection of the point.
You're welcome.
So that's why we ran long on the news and reading and the watching and the ad-libs because this is pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah, just about.
So as previously teased, we are doing
Batman-
Mask of the Phantasm.
Correct, from 1993.
BTAS.
It was 93?
Yeah.
Dang, I thought it was 95, the
Nope.
same year that yours truly came out.
No, it was before your
Of
time.
the womb.
Of the womb,
It was
yes.
before your time. You
But
know,
just barely.
yeah. So we will be discussing Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is, the prequel to Batman the Animated Series.
And we're going to be into it because we will literally walk 6 feet from the couch that we just viewed it on over to the table that has all the recording gear.
Yes.
And we will talk about it
Yes.
with hot takes like hotcakes.
Yes, sir.
Yay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
So, in closing, does anybody want to plug social media or?
Follow us, please. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at DimecomicBros Podcast. Send us an email if you're old or you have questions or anything that you want us to discuss.
I'm the one that reads the email.
Yeah, you're old. That is at dimecomicbros@gmail.com.
I remember the days when the computer would say really loud, like you could hear it from anywhere in the house, "You got mail!" And it was like, man, that is so freaking cool, technology and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Um,
That happened at our school, actually. We had, like, really old-ass computers. They still do. They still do.
So
They still
leave
say
a
"You've got
comment
mail?"
or send us an email if you have a discussion topic or anything along those lines. And this podcast is available on YouTube and SoundCloud. Obviously, you're listening on one of them. So go follow us on the other one, I guess. I don't know.
So yeah, last episode, Colin mentioned a piece of artwork that hit hot, and some popular mainstream group contacted him and said, "Dang, that's some wicked cool stuff you got there," and I was pretty excited for him. So you should be into his artwork too, and you can find it at
Melancholy Gray on Instagram.
And how do you spell gray? Is it with an E or an A?
An A.
I can never decide.
It's cooler that way.
Mm-hmm.
How excellently British of you, sire.
Thanks, Father.
Actually, I think the British spell it E.
Yeah, it probably is.
I don't know.
We're stupid Americans
I'm
here.
trying to think of
Just
how they spell
American.
Earl Grey tea, and I think it's Grey.
Yeah, you're right.
Or Lady Grey tea if you prefer a medium,
Yeah,
a softer,
that's some good tea,
Oh.
though.
a weaker tea.
That t-shirt company that hit me up, like the small t-shirt company.
Uh-huh.
He saw the second drawing, like the purple one. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, yeah, I need you to do like a couple more pieces instead of just one.
And you're like, it's gonna cost you, buddy.
Well, that's obvious, but I was like, hell yeah, I'll do that, dude. Like, that's cool.
Nice.
I'm just waiting for information.
So, thank you for listening, and come back in 2 weeks.